I am a huge fan of Star Wars toys. In fact, I think Star Wars toys are my favorite part about Star Wars as a franchise. I mean, I do love the movies. In fact, I just watched A New Hope 3 days ago for fun. But toys are what I love the most. Now, I need to talk about Marvel Legends a little bit in a video that's about Star Wars. Now, they're both obviously produced by Hasbro, but what's important is Marvel Legends are themed back in the Toy Biz day and back in the modern Hasbro day. Star Wars fans, hang in there, I promise. I'm going to connect all the dots here. Now, one of the things that's been going on with the themed waves in 2024 is the ones that aren't themed for a movie are getting passed over by retail. And, well, it's an issue because, well, it basically leaves comic book stores and alt retailers, your Entertainment Earth, your Big Bad Toy Stores, etc., as the exclusive retailers for these waves. And they're usually produced in a lot less. One of these waves in particular, which has also been passed over by retail, is the Blackheart wave. This is so important for Star Wars fans. Why? Well, you remember this thing? That big giant box that a lot of people ordered, a couple years ago? Inside were lots of pieces. Okay, still don't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the original Haslab project, which I will admit I did not order. I'm not a huge sail barge fan. I mean, I like Jabba's Palace if I was going to have a display. But that's not important right now. The point is, you guys made this happen, and that's what's great. And Hasbro did a great job promoting it by showing shots with action figures included, because at the end of the day, this is basically a sail barge-shaped dollhouse. No pun intended. So lots of shots of figures showing how they interact, how they look when they're posed in, all around, inside, on top, etc. of the sail barge, because those of us who have been collecting for a year or 40 years have a lot of Jabba's goons. And the idea is that, yes, this is really a boat-shaped, sail barge-shaped dollhouse for us to display our Jabba the Hutt characters, which is awesome. I mean, that's why we've been doing this, is to finally have an awesome display. So, again, I display my Jabba Palace characters in his throne room as opposed to the sail barge. But for those collectors that were new to the game who didn't have 20 years worth of Jabba's goons, well, it kind of meant playing the waiting game.
Oh, we play the waiting game. No, the waiting game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Hasbro did respond with lots of characters to fill out the sail barge and the skiffs and, et cetera, but it took a while. It took about 3 years. And I've mentioned this many times, is that the toy industry has a 2 to 3 year development cycle. So even getting reissued figures that were already tooled back out to market took a little bit of time. They weren't instantly ready, and a lot of this is because when Hasbro launched the sail barge and launched Haslab as a platform, they didn't know if it was going to work. So the idea of putting out a bunch of figures to go with a giant dollhouse, a giant boat-shaped dollhouse, wasn't, they weren't really thinking fourth dimensionally.
Marty, it's perfect. You're just not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Right, I have a real problem with that.
But yes, like Marty, they learned. If you look at one of the other Haslab projects, this time one that didn't go through, the Wheels of Vengeance that was offered in 2023. Now, this is what's going to bring everything together. So this project, which wasn't funded, was slated to ship in fall of 2024. So we're getting close to what would have been the shipping date if this had been, it hit its mark. And I think the thing that excited most people about this particular project were the extra characters. So they weren't just selling a car on fire with a Ghost Rider variant. They were really selling a entryway into the whole demonic aspect of the Marvel Universe. Especially characters like Mephisto there, who you really can't sell at retail because he looks like the devil. All right, so this wasn't just about, one item. This was Hasbro's sort of gateway into this whole aspect, this corner of the Marvel Universe, call it that. They hadn't really done too many, of the mystical or, call it devilish characters until now. Oh, look what's shipping in fall 2024. There's a whole wave of characters related to the Wheels of Vengeance project. I mean, you've got, Mephisto, his son, Blackheart, Lilith, you've got Wolverine, decked over in this theme. So, yeah, Dracula, these are characters that were meant to complement the Wheels of Vengeance set. So, it's not random. And if you look, this is the first time they've ever done a set of characters from, this corner of the Marvel Universe, if you will, all in one wave that weren't linked to a movie like Doctor Strange or something like that, because they're meant to go with the Wheels of Vengeance. But because the Wheels of Vengeance didn't happen, the wave just feels like it is. Another good example is the Haslab Galactus. This one that obviously did go through. So Galactus came with a whole schmeckle of his heralds there from past and future, including a really great Silver Surfer, but not all of them. Well, Hasbro answered that in about a year, 2 years later, with a Heralds of Galactus pack, obviously meant to complement the Galactus that they sold. So they're starting to get kind of closer and closer together to the when the Haslab item ships. All right, so that's why we have to talk about Star Wars, because look what we just funded. The Cantina. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm getting one. I didn't get the extra side. I just got the basic version. Now, many of us, myself included, have been collecting Cantina figures like crazy for years. Here's my set, gathered around the snap-together bar that had seats, which is incorrect. I'm really excited to get a real bar, especially with the middle section, too. So, I have all the figures, many of us have all the figures to display, but we haven't had a bar-shaped dollhouse. Get where the theme is going here with these Haslab projects at work. They pay off long-term displays of characters that fans have gotten. Now that the Cantina has moved forward, well, all the more reason Hasbro now has motivation to do all these background characters that we've been shouting for, especially some of the grubby humans, if you will, that, let's face it, there's way more humans than there are aliens in the Cantina, especially for the London shoot. But yeah, there's now this whole complete the scene, and there's a ton of aliens, a ton of spacemen, a ton of all sorts of characters that can now be done, and there's motivation to do this. And we even know that Hasbro is already starting to rev this up. And again, now that we know the Cantina has happened, it's not just all the more reason to do this, but it opens up kind of a permission to now really dig deep into like the whole Mos Eisley, and literally that one guy, the Fu Manchu guy over Brainiac's shoulder there, he's and I guess Wolfman, and we've shown part of the Haslab but never made. So we're going to want to complete each one of these little sections of the Cantina, all of those inset shots and those table shots. We're going to want the last member of the modal nodes, or at least his correct instrument, because the one's supposed to be, I guess, their manager at the table is not in the band. And obviously, that's why so many figures were included with tiers and with the buy-in, because that's what you're getting. And we, again, know that Hasbro has said they're doing this whole return to Tatooine thing. So they're showing more Cantina figures. So this is great. And because we know now that Hasbro is actively producing waves of figures to complement Haslab projects, we can be really excited to know that when the Cantina ships, there will probably be some Cantina figures on shelf, unlike what happened with the sail barge. So yeah, it took Hasbro a little while to kind of figure that out and work fourth dimensionally, but I'm glad and I'm so excited they are, and I can't wait to fill the Cantina with, I hope, all 86 characters. So that would be awesome. Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.